just increase the energy consumption.
here. 點解陳同佳流馬車車會都有女朋友，到2025你仲係單身？
Today I'm going to be checking out the brand new Tri-Beam Birthday, and this update we have the new Cadillac Collection 2024 Cadillac CT5B Blackwing, 2018 Cadillac ATS V Coupe, 2016 Cadillac ATS VR GT3, 2004 Cadillac XLR, 2023 Audi S4 TDI LIM, 1991 Audi S2, and 1989 Toyota MR2. But before we check this all out, make sure to subscribe and try to like this video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so this is that new Cadillac collection car. This thing is super cool, okay? So I'm noticing a trend. All the collection vehicles they keep adding are always like GT3 or GT4 style race cars. So I guess if you want to predict future collections, you know they're most likely going to be race cars. So we're going to go buy all these new Cadillacs so we can get it. Now, I would also like to apologize to you all. I didn't make an update video last week. That's because I was on vacation and I didn't have like a good internet connection, so it kept kicking me from the game when I would try to make the video on vacation for you all on my laptop. But it's okay, we're here this week checking out the new updates. So these are all the new cars we got. This Audi, ooh, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. This is one of those cars that no one's gonna use in the game ever. Like, I'm gonna just keep it for real with y'all. Like, no one's using this car. I'm sorry, but it's true. 30K will buy it. This Toyota, 50K. This one, maybe some people will use. Ooh, nice model quality though. That's lots of detail. Ooh, it's a mid-engine. Wow, that's super cool. 50K. Let's buy it. I don't know if people would use this one either that much. This Cadillac, interesting. Oh, it's a convertible. Okay, interesting. We'll buy it for 55K. I want to see that roof go down though. Yeah, there we go. Engine detail, alright. Interior, it's alright. Kind of like a random car, though I don't see many people ever using this, I bet. I just can't envision it. I don't see a lot of people wanting to use it. Okay, let's see what's next. I did see a glitch there for a second. It said, like, price here. That was weird. I swear we already have this Audi. This looks like an Audi we already had. 67K. I don't want to seem like I'm being a hater, but those first three cars, I doubt anyone will use them. And this Audi legit looks like one we already had. I don't want to hate on the update, though. We're getting to some cool stuff now. Okay, this one is pretty cool looking. I can't lie. It's like a two-door version of that sedan. I've never really seen the newer version of the two-door. I've always seen, like, the older version of this. So, nice to see a newer-looking one. 75K. We'll buy it. Here we go. This is the newer one. I'm always seeing this thing. But, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I love that color. I love this car. Okay, this one is beautiful. My favorite so far. Model looks great. 120K. Bitch pricey. In real life, I think it's cheaper, but nice. And then we got a collections. We got our new Cadillac collection car. There we go. Let's claim it. Honestly, good update for cars. We got lots of cars this week. This thing is sick. Wow. Look at that GT3 car. We'll check it out for sure. Alright, I think I'm going to go through and spec all the cars. I'm not going to lie, though. It's going to be hard to find them. The only complicated thing about updates like this is sometimes, because there's so many cars, it can be hard to find all the ones I want to spec because I forget what some of the new ones are because there's like 7 of them from different brands all mixed up in my inventory. But I'm going to go through and spec them all now. Okay, so I've just got done customizing all the cars. Now, I have noticed they've limited some customization. Cadillacs, you can't change the aftermarket, or wheels to aftermarket. You can't change them anymore. So I wonder, do my older Cadillacs, yes. So this one that was added a few updates ago, I have aftermarket wheels on it. But my newer Cadillacs, like this one, won't let me put aftermarket wheels. But I do quite like how it looks still. This is a nice one. The wheels are alright. I would have preferred all black wheels, but I can't even change the color. Not sure if that was intentional or a glitch, but I'll show you all the specs I did. So obviously we got this Cadillac here. This Cadillac, you can really only change the caliper color, so, I mean, obviously I just made them red. They were like gold before, but not much you can do this. I wish you could change the body color and these other colored parts, maybe like your own colors, but like, they really didn't make it so you could, which sucks. This Cadillac here, it's ugly. I think I'm gonna be for real, so I don't care how it looks really. And you couldn't even change the interior with this one, so you're stuck with this boring old lady interior spec. That's what I'm gonna call it, the old lady interior here. I don't love it. It looks alright though with the red. And what else do we have? So we have the Cadillacs. I believe there was another one. Yeah, this one. This one you couldn't change the wheels or the chrome, so I just went with a silver spec. You couldn't even change the interior in this one either. It's so random. I don't love these Cadillacs with their customization. It's very limited. All these Cadillacs kind of boring in this update with really what you could do to them customization wise. Audi, we had this Audi here. I think it looks nice in red, so I put it in red because the taillight's this huge chunky section and it's all red, so the red just kind of makes it work good together, I guess, the spec. This Audi, I was hating on it saying it looks like every other, but I do like that you could change the chrome on this car, so I made it all blacked out and I did this blue spec, and this is actually now my favorite Audi sedan in game because a lot of the other ones you couldn't change much with them, but this one you could have chosen your chrome and your wheels. The other cars I guess you could choose the wheels on, but Cadillacs you couldn't. But this Audi, I liked what I could do with it. I have blue stitching on the doors as well. It's kind of hard to see there, but I did like what I could do with the customization on this Audi. And I believe there was one more, the Toyota. This thing right here, okay, so I believe, is this a convertible? No, this is a weird looking one. Why is it like that? Okay, the roof is glass, looking like a Targa top, but you can't take it off. So I guess, what's my favorite car in this update? Honestly, I don't love this update too much. I feel like the Audi was nice. I like the customization. The Toyota looks pretty cool. I can't lie. It does look kind of nice. We did aftermarket wheels, I forgot to say. But I didn't like the Cadillacs, which were the main focus. I didn't like how it was so limited what you could do to them. And this race car especially, I feel like with race cars, those are the cars you can make crazy, bold designs on. You know, I have like some bright colored race cars in game. If we look at my Bentley GT3, this is a good example of one I have a crazy bright spec on, and it looks good in my opinion with the crazy bright spec. And I feel like it sucks that you can't even make your own personalized Cadillac here. Everyone's gonna be rolling around with the same looking car. It would be much cooler if I could make a crazy blue spec. I would probably do like bright blue paint, some nice blue and white and yellow accents maybe. But no, we're kind of stuck with this design right now. It's not the end of the world though. Still a pretty cool car in this update. I guess before I end the video, we could test out how this car does all around. Now keep in mind, I don't have any upgrades on it because that new customization system they added like a month or so ago. So this is just the factory car I'm testing right now. I don't have all the parts to throw on it, but it does feel nice. Handling, super good handling, okay? It feels really heavy, really like heavy at first, but once you get it going, it actually handles not bad at all. It feels really good with the handling. I just wish it could accelerate a bit quicker, which could technically be changed if we put some parts in it. So honestly, this thing might be a little bit underrated. I think you could probably get this thing for dirt cheap. So you get this car for cheap by just buying a few other Cadillacs. You throw in some acceleration parts, maybe a bit of top speed stuff as well, and you got yourself a track monster right here. I can already tell. If we put some upgrades in the future, in a future video, maybe we did like a sleeper build, this car has potential. You can see 54 seconds stock. But with upgrades, we could definitely make this car outrageous. I can already tell by how good the handling is. We'll go like full speed here and watch it just rip through that corner. Solid cornering. This thing handles, oh yeah, you see it handles amazing. So this Cadillac, I was hating on it because you can't customize much appearance-wise, but it's got some tuning potential. You can definitely tune this thing up and be really, really good around the track. Acceleration, top speed, not so much. And with the right parts, it'll fix those areas a bit. But yeah, I do think that's gonna be everything for today's video. That's a brand new Driving Empire update. I truly hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe, ring the notification bell so you never miss another upload. Share the video on screen here. YouTube needs to like it, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
There's a lot of people these days who really like Driving Empire, and it's very easy to understand why. They have officially licensed car brands that are super detailed, and they give us new...
AdMob makes it easy to monetize your mobile game. Rewarded ads become part of the game.
全城會係荃灣西最就腳嘅新盤之一，經有蓋天橋去西鐵站只需5分鐘，仲有天橋接通。
Peppa Pig is such a huge phenomenon that for over 20 years, it has charmed generations of all ages. But did you know that even after 300 episodes and 6 Christmas specials, the Pink Piglet is still 5 years old?
Wow!
If time really passed in Peppa Pig, the first big shock would definitely be seeing our little piglet, her best friend Susie, George, and the other main characters getting older. Just imagine, Peppa's brother trading his dinosaur toys for dinosaur video games, or Peppa stopping her muddy puddle jumps to start swimming in muddy pools. Some things never change, but when you grow up, you can take everything to a more mature level. We could even have a special episode where Peppa finally turns 14 years old and realizes she's now too grown up for certain childish activities.
相信我，只要你用過一次拼多多，你就會愛上佢。拼多多上各種商品琳琅滿目，價格亦實惠，唔理價。
可以走嘅人始終會走嘅，你太掛住佢啦，就等於你捉走佢嘅靈魂啦。
呢位白髮嘅伯伯先橫過2條來回行車線，越過路中鐵欄，急急腳想過黃格仔嗰陣就出事啦。私家車撞到佢成個人被鏟起，再跌落地下。私家車立即緊急剎車，車上面嘅乘客同埋司機落車睇下伯伯嘅情況同報警求助。現場係銅鑼灣高士威道同埋摩頓台交界。警方星期5朝早8點幾接報，一架私家車沿西行方向右一線行駛期間撞到一名正過緊馬路嘅伯伯，救護人員接報到場，伯伯報稱腰痛，清醒送院治理。其實伯伯過路嘅高士威道東西行各有2條行車線，加埋2條電車路線，即係總共有6條行車線。伯伯下次過馬路記住唔好貪一時方便，記得用附近嘅行人天橋過馬路。
的士車頭嚴重損毀變形，引擎一度冒煙，氣袋彈出， 上面有血跡。越野車亦都車頭毀爛，零件四散喺地下。現場仲留低咗塊染血嘅紗布。現場係粉錦公路近香港9公園對開。星期五凌晨大約2點，的士往粉嶺方向行駛期間，左彎時突然失控，越過對面行車線，繼而撞向迎頭駛近嘅豐田越野車。事故發生之後，消防接報趕到現場，救出被困嘅的士司機同乘客。一個年約40歲嘅男乘客重傷昏迷不醒，送院經搶救後證實不治。的士司機同另一位清醒男乘客以及越野車司機都受傷，全部由救護車送院。越野車男司機通過咗酒精呼氣測試同藥物測試，的士司機就等候緊接受測試。警方調查緊車禍起因。
元朗星期五凌晨發生持刀劫案，一名南亞裔賊人喺凌晨2點幾攞住125厘米長嘅刀衝入洪水橋錦山苑地下一間便利店，指客店入邊52歲姓鄧嘅女職員掠走收銀機入面1000蚊現金同埋幾包香煙。女職員於是報警求助，冇受傷。佢得手之後喺便利店附近截咗架新界的士離開現場。當駛到去水邊圍路嘅時候，佢又攞把刀出嚟指客，並且趕司機落車，自己揸走咗架的士。44歲姓梁嘅男的士司機報案時候話，車上面大約2000蚊現金、2部手提電話同埋1部平板電腦被劫走，好彩冇受傷。警方隨即展開調查，翻查閉路電視之後證實2單案都係同一個人做。事發唔夠1日，警方就迅速拘捕呢一名南亞裔男疑犯。
案發之後嘅8小時內，喺村裏邊截獲一名40歲冇駕駛資格嘅非華裔男子，並以行劫、駕駛時冇有效執照及冇第三者保險嘅罪名將佢拘捕。警方起回部分嘅失物，包括7包煙、1條毛巾及5000蚊嘅港幣現金。
被捕人正係被扣留調查，稍後將會被落案起訴。
的士男司機被人打傷個頭同埋塊面，佢坐上救護車，有警員喺隔離了解情況。涉事的士嘅右邊車頭以及左邊車門損毀，成架車打橫停咗喺馬路中間。星期五凌晨1點幾，的士接獲電召，前往皇后大道中近德己立街。抵達之後，有3個年約20至30歲嘅中國籍男子揮手截停架車。男司機以為佢哋就係 call 車乘客，就開門俾佢哋上車。開車之後，男司機發現佢哋並唔係 call 車乘客，就要求佢哋落車。3人不滿施襲，更一度箍住男司機條頸。喺糾纏期間，男司機懷疑唔小心扭動軚盤，的士失控撞向右邊行人路鐵欄。3名涉案男子事後逃離現場。45歲姓鄭嘅的士司機自行報警求助，佢通過吹波波酒精測試之後，由救護車送院治理。經警方調查之後，案件列作襲擊致造成身體傷害以及交通意外無人受傷跟進，並追緝緊3名涉案男子。一
個49歲嘅越南婦 Lisa 喺上星期6離開失蹤。佢嘅家屬相信佢已經遭到不測，並話懷疑兇手係一個叫阿爾嘅越南籍男子。我哋拎到幾段閉路電視錄影，影到懷疑係嗰名越南籍男疑犯嘅身影。喺星期日上晝，即係 Lisa 失蹤嘅第2日，一個戴住口罩、着住深色短衫短褲、孭住斜孭袋嘅男人，雙手至少拎住4袋紅色同埋白色嘅膠袋。佢由涉事青山道152號唐樓方向離開，轉入另一條街。佢沿途步速都好正常。警方連日去到多個地方搜證。最新消息話，警方水櫃隊星期5喺馬灣對開海面打撈到懷疑係女事主嘅手提電話。警員亦都去到欣澳附近嘅石灘進行搜證。大批警員繼續喺屯門稔灣堆填區搜證，佢哋着住保護衣，拎住鐵鏟喺度翻炒垃圾，希望去揾到涉案疑犯棄置喺街頭嘅寵物。消息就話，疑犯已經潛逃離開香港。警方經調查之後，拉咗疑犯25歲領行街紙嘅越南籍女朋友，涉嫌協助罪犯。案件星期5喺九龍城裁判法院提堂。案情指佢喺2025年6月13號喺香港某處，當男疑犯犯謀殺罪之後，喺知道或者相信佢涉嫌干犯罪行嘅情況之下，協助男疑犯乘坐船隻去到內地，並意圖妨礙拘捕或者檢控個人。裁判官將案件押後到8月22號再訊，被告冇保釋申請，需要還押候訊。
教講大話甩大牙，冇諗過人哋講大話，自己都會甩晒牙。深圳南山區口腔診所美澳口腔6月頭突然間結業，準備種牙嘅徐先生俾晒3萬幾蚊診金，成口牙亦都俾人剝晒。佢按要求時間去診所攞翻個帽，點知發現診所人去樓空，到而家前牙兩失，個樣不知幾彷徨。
没有，刚刚把日期动好了，把这个妆打好了。现在就是我们这个吃饭就吃不下去了，只能喝一点，吃一点稀饭啊，吃一點粥。
有幾十個患者星期三去到診所出面維權，有患者向記者透露，苦主超過900人，大部分人損失金額去到幾萬蚊。
我幫人你全部帶呀，就都2月份我在這裡來了，一共來了15次。他說那加工檔還沒做好，他說你的牙齒還沒做好，他就那票叫我等一段時間，一直等到6月2號，我突然6月2號來的時候，他就關了門就老闆話跑了。
有診所員工亦都被拖欠幾個月人工，佢哋之前未收到過執笠通知，負責人嘅電話一直都未能接通。
要跑價的保潔阿姨，我就想要回我的工資，1到5月份一分錢都沒有，1分都沒發。問了他就說過2天啊，其他員工一般都欠，一共欠了1個月就有4100塊錢，就欠了2萬多。
報道又話，涉事診所曾經要求患者轉去第2間診所繼續治療，但係要額外交錢。有患者種牙預繳近7萬蚊，轉診所之後被要求再交多2萬幾蚊先可以完成療程。深圳市南山區衛健局表示，執法人員已經去到現場檢查，並且約談咗負責人。至於關於退費等嘅糾紛問題，建議訴求人通過法律途徑解決。
名媛蔡天鳳肢解案，早前有1男1女被告涉嫌協助蔡天鳳嘅前夫鄺港智租船潛逃澳門，各人被裁定1項串謀意圖妨礙司法公正罪罪成。案件喺星期5喺九龍城裁判法院判刑，2個人都被判囚6個月。2名被告分別係報稱為遊艇公司職員42歲嘅林信同埋報稱無業30歲嘅潘巧賢，佢哋都否認1項串謀妨礙司法公正罪。潘巧賢嘅律師求情指，佢天真單純，因為錯信朋友 Ivy 盧曉紅，指 Ivy 刻意隱瞞 Alex 嘅身份，潘巧賢喺唔知情嘅情況之下先至幫手。裁判官陳志輝指，潘巧賢對航線有一定嘅了解，佢冇可能唔知道係非法過境。後嚟佢得悉租船嘅銀碼由3萬變成30萬，潘巧賢亦都冇退出通訊群組，相信佢唔係只係傳話。好難想像冇違法，又或者冇俾警方追捕嘅人，點解要緊急同埋秘密嚟講？從林信提到孭飛等嘅字眼，可以見到2個被告必然知道 Ivy 嘅朋友，即係鄺港智因為逃避警方追捕而需要秘密嚟講，可以見到2個人係有犯罪意圖。潘巧賢得知判囚之後，即時申請保釋同埋等候上訴，獲得陳官批准。佢嘅保釋條件包括係10萬蚊現金同埋5萬蚊嘅人事擔保，期間不得離港，同埋需要交出旅遊證件，亦都需要喺報稱嘅地點居住，並且每一日去到警署報到。
政府舊年批出5支的士車隊牌照嘅有條件暫准通知，運輸署目前預計喺7月底有近1000架車隊的士投入服務，未達到正式申請牌照要求。投入服務的士總數要達總規模60%嘅門檻。不過處長李仲恩會照向的士車隊發出正式牌照，強調要務實地審視，等的士車隊先落地。
其實我哋每個月都同唔同嘅車隊咧都係舉行籌備嘅會議。咁去到今日，其實我哋見到咧，第一就係佢哋譬如佢哋嘅管理能力啦，佢哋車輛嗰個規格啦，上面安裝嘅設施啦，顧客服務啦，佢哋自己提供嘅一啲嘅系統監察平台嘅安裝咧，其實各方面咧，我哋見到佢哋都係取得好良好嘅進展。咁但係咧其實我哋亦都貼近現實，都了解到咧喺招募司機嗰度咧係要更加加把勁，繼續有功夫要做嘅。咁我哋亦都係 剛剛嘅星期三都係做咗一個係專題式添嘅，就真係為咗的士車隊而單一課題係舉辦嘅一個嘅招聘會。咁當日其實只係下晝嘅時段係有呢一個嘅招聘嘅活動，但係咧喺短短時間其實都收到有220個嘅申請表。咁其實我哋見到嗰個反應都係理想嘅。
不過有業界認為，的士車行同埋前線司機嘅唔對等關係冇改變，唔少司機寧願留喺原本嘅租賃模式，都唔投身管理更加嚴格嘅車隊，導致車隊招聘困難。車隊制度本意係提升服務質素，但要推動改革，制度設計或仍有調整空間。
飛機右邊引擎一直冒出黑煙，仲不時噴出火光同埋發出巨響。呢架載有153名乘客、6名機組人員嘅美國航空公司空中巴士，原定星期三上晝由拉斯維加斯飛去北卡羅來納州夏洛特，不過起飛後冇幾耐就傳出多次爆裂聲。紐約時報引述一名機上面嘅乘客話，客機起飛後一陣就聽到引擎發出好似槍聲咁樣嘅爆裂聲，情況非常緊張。美國航空事後發表聲明話，事故中嘅客機編號1665係空中巴士 A321，機組人員已經喺報告發動機有問題之後嘅10分鐘內安全着陸。公司亦都已經進行檢查，話引擎並冇起火跡象，飛機亦都已經停止服務，將會由公司嘅維修團隊再作評估。美國聯邦航空局正係調查事故原因。
另外一種我唔食嘅就係三文魚啦。
著名美食評論家蔡瀾離世，享年83歲。佢嘅助手星期尾微博公佈，蔡瀾喺6月25號親友陪同下喺香港養和醫院安詳離世，遵從蔡瀾嘅意願，不設任何儀式，遺體已經火化。喺前年，蔡瀾因為跌倒碎咗股頸骨，之後嘅出入就需要輪椅代步。今年4月一度傳出佢病危嘅消息，之後佢喺社交平台上面澄清未至於病危。蔡瀾籍貫廣東潮州，出生於新加坡。佢同已故武俠小說作家金庸、已故科幻小說作家倪匡、已故著名填詞人黃霑並列為大才子。佢曾經做過電影製作人，亦都係作家，主持過多個飲食節目，亦都係香港著名嘅美食評論家。
你有多少個女朋友？
我幾十個有吧。
喺1989年至1990年間，佢同
Hello， 大家好，我係 David。咁好耐咧就冇同大家拍片傾下偈咧，因為咧我都基本上每日都係忙。
是了吧，是Star Wars。
Key signatures. Everything you need to know so you don't fail a music class in just 6 minutes. Key signatures are a musical notation that indicates which notes are sharp or flat in a piece of music. They're a useful shorthand because this looks pretty cumbersome, but this doesn't look so bad. But both pieces would actually sound the same because of the key signature. This indicates that all F's, C's, and G's are sharp, and this one says that all B's, E's, and A's are flat. It's important to note that this means all F's are sharp, not just this one, but this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one too. And it's pretty important to play the right key signature because it can really change the sound of a piece. There are 15 key signatures in total, corresponding with the 15 major scales. Learning them all is an important rite of passage for a musician. You'll probably memorize them over time through sheer exposure and practice, kind of like the way you probably memorized all the street names in your neighborhood, but you probably never studied them. However, most people find it useful to have a trick or device to help remember them in the meantime. There are a number of popular tricks, but this device is my favorite one. It looks a little complicated at first, but this device tells you the key signatures for all the sharp and flat keys, and it's really easy to learn. This device also makes a lot more sense when you're aware of a few patterns that emerge in key signatures. So let's take a look at those now. Examining all 15 key signatures, we see that there are 7 keys with sharps and 7 keys with flats. There's just one left over, C major. It's a special case because it only has natural notes, but most people find it pretty easy to remember that C major doesn't have any sharps or flats. Taking a closer look at the sharp keys, the first thing to notice is that they all start the same way. Each one starts with F sharp. G major only has one sharp, and it's F sharp. C sharp major has a whole bunch of sharps, but it starts with F sharp too. In fact, all these key signatures start with F sharp. The second sharp, if there is one, is always C sharp. All of these keys have 2 or more sharps, and they all start with F sharp and then C sharp. This pattern continues. The third sharp, if there is one, is always G sharp. The fourth sharp is always D sharp. The fifth is A sharp. The sixth is E sharp. And the seventh is B sharp. Another way to visualize this pattern is, here's the key signatures for G major, D major, A, E, B, F sharp, and C sharp. The flat key signatures have a similar pattern. You'll notice that the first F major only has one flat, and C flat major has 7 flats, but they all have B flat as the first flat. The second flat, if there is one, is always E flat. The third flat is always A flat. The fourth is D flat, the fifth is G flat, the sixth is C flat, and the seventh is F flat. Again, to help visualize this pattern, here are the key signatures for F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. So the order of the sharps is this, and the order of the flats is this. They're always in that order, and they always fill in left to right. You'll never see some random combination of sharps and flats together in a key, like C sharp and E sharp or A flat and D flat. That's not a thing. And you'll never see sharps and flats together in a major key signature. That's not a thing either. The phrase I like to use to remember the order of the sharps and flats is, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. The phrase works backwards for the flats too. Battle ends and down goes Charles's father. This is great because you can double check that you've got both sets in the right order, and if you only happen to remember one of the phrases, you can still use it to generate both sets. Battle ends and down goes Charles's father. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. You can come up with your own if you prefer, maybe something like furry creatures gently dozing after eating berries, or before even attempting dancing, get creative fashion, or French children greet diners after explaining backgammon, or bizarrely energetic antelope discuss grandiose corporate forecasts. It doesn't really matter, whatever you can use to remember. Now that we know the order of sharps and flats, we can make use of that device from the beginning. Here's how to write it. First, write out the order of the sharps and flats. Then, draw a line to the right of the C. Add accidentals to the left of the line, sharps for Father Charles and flats for battle ends. Finally, add numbers below each letter starting to the right of the line, then loop around when you get to the end. This device tells us the order of sharps and flats, the names of all major key signatures, and how many sharps and flats are in each key. If you want to know the key signature for A major, find A. We see that there are 3 sharps in A, and we know that 3 sharps has to be F, C, and G. If we want to know the key signature for E flat major, we see that the number says there are 3 flats. We know that 3 flats must be B, E, and A. This works for all the keys. G major has 1 sharp, F sharp. D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. A major has 3, E has 4, B has 5, F sharp has 6, and C sharp has 7. For the flats, F has 1 flat, B flat has 2, E flat has 3, A flat has 4, D flat has 5, G flat has 6, and C flat has 7. If you want to identify a major key signature, just count how many sharps and flats there are and find it in the chart. With this one, we count 5 flats. Go to the flats chart and find the key with 5 flats, D flat major. You'll always know
or C sharp major.
Each key only appears once. This is B and this is B flat. This is F and this is F sharp. This covers 14 keys. The only one that isn't there is C major, and we already know that C major doesn't have any sharps and flats. It's also important to know that the sharps and flats must be on these specific lines and spaces. Just like the written language has been codified over time, so has music. This looks normal, but this doesn't look normal. For the sharps, most people see a shape of 2, 3, 2. On the bass clef, it's the exact same shape, but we start on this F instead and continue the pattern of 2, 3, 2. The flats go in a 2, 2, 2, 1 pattern, and it's the same in the bass clef, except we start down here. And that's it. If you can remember, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, and battle ends and down goes Charles's father, line to the right of the C, accidentals to the left of the line, numbers to the right of the line, and these shapes, then you've pretty much mastered key signatures. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching. The 5 levels of jazz improvisation. Improvisation in music is the act of spontaneously playing something that hasn't been previously planned or composed. In fact, in many ways, it is simply composition sped up. Some people find the idea of any kind of improvisation to be pretty intimidating, but I think that anyone can learn to do it because it's something that you do all the time. When you tell a story or have a conversation and you haven't pre-written or memorized what you're saying, you're improvising. You've probably got some broad ideas in mind that you're trying to convey, but it's not worked out ahead of time. You're just talking. You're able to draw from your massive vocabulary and compose sentences on the spot that make sense and convey meaning. Conversely, in music, there are only a few notes to choose from, so it should be a lot easier to play something that makes sense and even sounds pretty good. But if you're in a band and it's your turn to take a solo, and you're just supposed to make something up, how do you do that? Now, it should go without saying that anything you play should be in time, in tune, and with a good sound. That's just basic musicality and control of your instrument. So you just have to choose what notes to play and what rhythms to play. And in my experience working with new improvisers, rhythm is not that big a deal, while notes tend to be far more mystifying and intimidating. So that's what this video is going to focus on. And how you do decide what notes to play depends on how far you've progressed in what I think of as the 5 levels of improvisation in music. And while the levels are sequential, they're also cumulative and even sort of loop around on each other. And while the progression of complexity is probably what you would expect, the role of intuition may not be. Level 1 is all about playing by ear, and it's basically 100% intuition. There is a rare species of musician who are natural improvisers. They engage with the music fearlessly and seem to effortlessly come up with brilliant musical ideas, but maybe don't know much about chords or theory. Some people never get out of level 1, and they don't need to because they sound awesome. Most of us aren't so lucky and need a bit more study and guidance to improvise well. But everyone still needs level 1 because there's nothing more important in improvisation than using your ears. And basically everyone has some intuitive understanding that some choices in music are very consonant while others have a lot of dissonance or tension. But tension and dissonance aren't necessarily bad. In fact, the balance between tension and release is really important in music. And you may notice how some notes want to go up to resolve, while others sound more satisfying when they go down. And if you're not sure how to resolve a tension, you should know you're only ever a semitone away from a resolution to a tension. With practice and experimentation, you'll learn to hear and resolve these tensions quickly. But I do think it's important to remember that there really are no objectively right or wrong choices here. There's no forbidden or brown note that's going to make something explode if you play it wrong. It's a bit like deciding what to have on your sandwich. Some choices are going to be more traditional, while others are going to be more adventurous, but you do you. Sure, you can burn the toast, and most people won't like that. But the analogous situation to that is more like playing out of time with a poor sound rather than an objectively bad note. So, fill your ears. Improvising musicians need to listen to bands and soloists from genres that they want to play to try to figure out what kinds of sounds fit and what don't. And back to sandwiches, it's a bit like learning what kinds of things usually go well together. And if you mix it up, well, it really depends on your own tastes if you find it interesting or just kind of weird. So, try a note and see if that works, and go up or down a semitone if you need to. Then try another note, and before you know it, you'll have tried all 12 pitches and probably come up with a pool of notes that sound pretty good. And all of a sudden, now you're in level 2. Level 2, use a scale or key. Most songs are made up of a variety of chords, but more often than not, these chords are going to be related to each other, because they all tend to come from one key or scale. For instance, all these songs all have chords that come from the key of G major. So you can just use the notes of the G major scale to improvise, and whatever you play is going to sound probably pretty good. Depending on the type of song you're playing, you might find another type of scale works well. But level 2 is basically about having an awareness that you can often just use one scale to guide your note choices for improvisation, and it's going to sound pretty good. Now, since this is level 2, it really helps to know a little bit of music theory, like knowing the basic pattern of major scales, and how that pattern relates to different kinds of minor scales, and to other kinds of scales. Check my channel for videos about these scales if you need to brush up on anything. And I even did one on how to learn all your scales in all 12 keys in just 24 hours with a really powerful practice technique and method to track your progress. Check the description for links. But in the meantime, don't panic, because you don't need to know all these scales to get started. You only need to know the scale you need to know to improvise on a specific tune. So, how do you know what scale to use? First, your teacher or someone else in the band who knows all the chords might be able to tell you what scale to use. Or use those ears that you developed in level 1. Just listen to the song and experiment until you figure out what notes and scales work best by process of elimination. There are only 12 notes to try and 12 possible major scales they can fit into, and you can probably figure out what scale works if you just try. And actually, if you've put the time in to learn all your scales really well, you can figure out what key you're in really quickly, because certain notes only fit in certain scales. Like, if C doesn't work but C sharp does, you can rule out a whole bunch of scales. And then you only have to check a couple more notes to quickly narrow down your options to just one scale. This might seem a bit mystifying if you don't know your scales well, but this is just one of the many superpowers you gain by learning all your major scales. More info on that in the description as well. Some songs will modulate to different keys, but it's the same idea. Figure out what scale works in what section, and you'll have a pool of notes to choose from at any time that are going to sound pretty good. And even jazz, which tends to be really harmonically complicated with lots of different chords, can even be thought of in terms of level 2. That is, different groupings of notes that combine to create various key centers. And when you're comfortable with that and ready to move to a greater level of detail, that brings us to level 3, chord theory. Now, instead of just thinking of a key that a piece or section is in and using an appropriate scale to improvise, you're actually paying attention to what chord is being played at any given moment and what scales and arpeggios work best over that specific chord. If you're playing the blues, rather than just using the blues scale, level 3 would require knowing the arpeggios and scales of all the specific chords used in the blues, and trying to incorporate those notes into your improvisations during those specific bars. The blues generally only has 3 chords to worry about, but this is fundamentally a much more detailed, higher resolution understanding of how to navigate improvising over a piece of music, and depending on the tune, you might have quite a few different chord changes to consider. This is a big project, because every chord type, and this is just a few, transposes into 15 keys, and has its own arpeggio and scale type, as well as notes that we tend to classify as tensions, which sound pretty good, but have tension, and avoid notes, which sound dissonant and should generally only be used as passing tones. Level 3 improvisers also consider voice leading and guide tones, as they move between subsequent chords, and often try to highlight those harmonic changes when improvising, such as in the blues. To give you a sense of the difference between level 2 and 3, here's 2 choruses of me improvising on the blues. First in level 2, then level 3. Level 3 is a big jump in detail, and we're going to do a deep dive on all these topics and more in subsequent videos. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them. But for now, just remember that you don't have to learn every chord and every key to get started in level 3 improvisation. You just have to learn the chords in the song you're learning. And if you'd like to have a conversation about these or other musical topics, I teach lessons online. I play trumpet, but I've coached musicians who play all kinds of instruments about all kinds of musical topics. We can work on improvisation, rhythms, sight reading, repertoire, or whatever you like. Visit my website, bradharrison.ca, for more information. And if you'd like to support this and future videos, please consider becoming a member of my channel or joining my Patreon. One of the perks is access to a huge scale syllabus and a set of play-along practice tracks designed to help you learn all your scales in no time. A bunch of different scales have already been published and more are on the way. Check the description for links to become a member.
Hey guys, I'm Shapeshift. I'm the host of this object show, and these are the contestants. Let's start with the first contest. The first contest is to push the contestant down. Whoever stands on the balanced beam wins. Go! This challenge is so easy.
Everyone knows Peppa and her family. They're always together on their adventures in the show. But what if I told you there's a dark secret hidden in this story? A detail that has never been mentioned but could completely change everything we know about the pig family? Well, some clues suggest that Peppa and George may have had another sibling, a third child of Mummy Pig who never appeared in the series. But what happened to them? Today, we're diving into this theory to figure out why they might have been erased from history. So, put on your golden boots and join us as we uncover more about Peppa's mysterious world, hidden in the house. Peppa Pig's house has always been full of mysteries, and there are some scenes in the show that raise a lot of questions. In one episode, the lights suddenly go out for no apparent reason. There's no storm, no power surge, and no issues with the circuit breaker. Of course, blackouts happen in real life, but this one seems a little too suspicious. Could it have been caused by Peppa's lost sibling, secretly living in the house without anyone knowing? Or worse, could it be a ghost still haunting the family? Another interesting detail is the attic, a dark and dusty space where almost no one likes to go. If there were a perfect hiding spot for a mysterious sibling, it would definitely be up there. And how could we forget the strange episode with the unknown login on the pig family's computer? During a round of the chicken game, Peppa and George see a list of players with initials matching the house's residents. Pep for Peppa, GO for George, GNP for Granny Pig, GP for Grandpa Pig, MMP for Mummy Pig, and SUZ for Susie. So far, everything makes sense.
記住，操 fit 係唔夠㗎。今日同大家操 sweet。
Wow， 真係見到 sweet。
So far, everything makes sense. But there's one set of initials that doesn't add up. OOP, sitting at the very bottom with a terrible score. Maybe it's a secret left behind by Peppa's lost sibling. If we were to guess a name that fits the other initials, we could call them Oscar Pig. Of course, this is just a theory, but it does make you wonder, who exactly is this mysterious OOP? The middle child. Most people assume that Mummy Pig had only 2 children, Peppa, followed a few years later by George. But what if that's not actually true? What if, between the two, there was another baby, which would make George the third child in the family instead of the second? That sounds unlikely because Peppa and George are so close in age. Let's remember something important. There's a 2-year gap between them, and biologically, female pigs get pregnant much more easily than humans. Not only that, but a pig's pregnancy only lasts 4 months, compared to the 9 months humans need. That means Mummy Pig had plenty of time to have a third child without it causing any major timeline issues in the show. But if this really happened, why have we never heard about this sibling? How did they just disappear from the story without a trace? Well, some theories are really dark, and one of them might just give you chills. Want to know more? Stay tuned because we're about to break it all down. In the meantime, if you find this mystery just as strange as we do, comment sibling down below. Mr. Dinosaur. If there's one thing that stands out in the series, it's George's inseparable toy, Mr. Dinosaur. Anyone who has been watching Peppa Pig from the beginning knows that this is no ordinary toy. The youngest member of the family has had Mr. Dinosaur since he was very little, and their bond has never broken. The most fascinating part? This toy is what sparked George's huge love for dinosaurs, to the point that his very first word wasn't mommy or daddy, but dinosaur. George's attachment to his green toy goes way beyond normal. He doesn't let go of it, not at bath time, not at mealtime, even when he gets new dinosaur toys, like the purple one for his birthday or the robotic one after Mr. Dinosaur broke. He always goes back to the original. The others are fun, but none can replace the real one. If you've ever been around small children, you know this isn't very common. Most kids quickly get bored of a toy and move on to something else. But George, he remains completely devoted to his dinosaur. This could mean something much deeper than just having a favorite toy. What if Mr. Dinosaur is more than just a stuffed animal? What if it's actually a way for Oscar, George's possible lost brother, to stay connected to him? Now imagine if there's some kind of supernatural bond between Oscar and George, a mental connection that allows them to communicate. If this theory is true, then the big question remains. Is Oscar watching over his younger brother to protect him, or are his intentions far more sinister than we think? Favoritism. One thing that many Peppa Pig fans have noticed is how Mummy and Daddy Pig seem to give extra attention to George. Of course, he's the youngest child, and that alone could justify some extra care. But in many situations, the family's concern for him seems a little excessive. A clear example of this is George's birthday party. It was a massive event inside a museum, complete with a giant robotic dinosaur. Peppa has had fun birthday parties too, but nothing nearly as extravagant as that. Could it be that the pig parents feel like they need to compensate for something when it comes to George? The Oscar theory is true. Everything starts making more sense. George might actually be a constant reminder to the family of a child they lost. If Oscar really passed away or disappeared in some other way, it wouldn't be surprising if the parents became even more attached to George, treating him as a second chance. This could also explain why the extended family, like the grandparents and even other adult characters, always seem to go out of their way to make sure George is happy. No matter what, Oscar's presence, even if indirect, seems to have a big impact on the pig family dynamic. And if this theory is really true, what other secrets could be hidden in their story? Paternal grandparents. Now, if there's one thing the show has never revealed, it's Daddy Pig's parents. Have you ever noticed that they simply never appear? While Mummy Pig's parents are recurring characters, Daddy Pig's parents have never been seen, but there's an interesting theory that could explain what happened to them, and it connects directly to the mystery of the pig family's missing middle child. This theory suggests that, when he was a child, Daddy Pig might have taken the life of his own sister in a fit of rage. As a result, his parents took the blame and were imprisoned for the crime. What makes this theory even creepier is an old black and white photograph that Daddy Pig keeps. A picture where he is standing next to a mysterious girl. Could this be his missing sister? None of them, nor his parents, ever appear in the show, which raises a lot of questions. But what if they aren't in prison? What if, after everything that happened, Daddy Pig's parents were released, but they went completely insane from everything they had been through? Now imagine if they decided to take revenge on their own son for what happened in the past. This theory gets even wilder when it suggests that they were the ones who kidnapped Oscar, faking his death, and raised him far away from the pig family as part of their revenge. If this is true, then Oscar probably believes his parents are gone and that his only family is his paternal grandparents. Meanwhile, Daddy Pig lives his life completely unaware that his middle child is still alive, living a completely different life somewhere far away. This theory just makes everything even darker and more mysterious. This mystery just keeps getting more and more intriguing, doesn't it? If you want to see more theories about Peppa Pig and other amazing cartoons, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll get our daily videos and won't miss out on any of these crazy stories. Predators. First glance, the world of Peppa Pig seems like a peaceful place where all animals live together in harmony. But what if that harmony isn't as real as it seems? Some moments throughout the series suggest that certain carnivorous characters still have their instincts pretty sharp, and that could mean serious danger. For example, Mr. Lion and Madame Gazelle had a rather strange moment where the feline's behavior seemed a bit suspicious. Not to mention Wendy Wolf's parents, who constantly ask Daddy Pig questions about the structure of his house. Specifically, if it's made of straw. It might seem like a harmless joke, but considering it's a reference to the Three Little Pigs, this could hint at something far more sinister. What if the wolves still have a deep instinct to hunt helpless piglets? Now imagine if the pig family's lost middle child, Oscar, became a victim of this predatory nature that some animals still possess. Maybe he was devoured by a carnivore who just couldn't resist their natural instincts. An even creepier detail is that Grandma Wolf almost admitted during Wendy Wolf's birthday party that her teeth are made for devouring people. This opens the door for countless dark theories about what really happened to Peppa's lost brother. Disease. What if the danger that haunted the pig family didn't just come from the outside, but from within? If there's a reason why Mummy and Daddy Pig are so overprotective of George's health, it might be directly tied to their past. In the episode where George gets a cold, Peppa doesn't think it's a big deal, but their parents react completely differently. They immediately call a doctor to check on George and make sure it isn't something more serious. But what if their extreme concern comes from the fact that Oscar, the supposed older brother of Peppa and George, once contracted a serious disease like swine fever? This would make perfect sense, especially since high fever is one of the symptoms of the illness. So, when George started showing signs of sickness, Mummy and Daddy Pig's protective instincts immediately kicked in, because they had already faced a loss before, and they couldn't risk going through that pain again. But George had actually caught something more dangerous. His entire family could be at risk since some diseases are highly contagious. If Dr. Brown Bear realized that it wasn't just a common cold, he would likely have sent George straight to the hospital to prevent the illness from spreading to Peppa and their parents. We've got 2 more awesome videos on your screen so you can keep having fun. Just click on one, it's that simple. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Victopia 獸醫網上商店，你可以輕鬆選購全球頂尖嘅寵物用品。Hills 係 No.1 美國獸醫推薦嘅品牌。而家喺 Victopia 購買 Hills 循環訂購，即可享首單8折優惠。快啲嚟 Victopia 訂購 Hills 寵物營養品啦！
Peppa's house sits on a steep hill, yet the front door is always somehow at ground level. But this is just one of many strange things this show never explains. 1. George Pig might be autistic. George Pig almost never speaks, but it's not just because he's a toddler. In nearly every episode, he clearly understands what others are saying. He listens, responds, and joins in, but rarely uses full words. Instead, he repeats the same one. Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
This obsession feels like more than a phase. In the future, Peppa says George will still love dinosaurs when he grows up. That one line made fans pause. Some believe George might be autistic. Kids on the spectrum often have strong interests and delayed speech. The show never explains it, but maybe George's silence hides something deeper. 2. Hash brown, the living fried food.
And I, Hash Brown, will save the day too!
Mr. Potato isn't the only vegetable that talks. In Peppa Pig's world, there's also Hash Brown, but something about him is much weirder. Unlike the others, he isn't just a fresh veggie. He's cooked. A hash brown has to be peeled, chopped, and fried. So, how did he survive all that? Was he once a regular potato like Mr. Potato and decided to fry himself? Or did someone do it to him? That's where it gets creepy. A living food is strange, but a fried one raises even more questions. Nobody explains it, and that makes it even scarier. 3. Leo the lion might not be imaginary. In one episode, Susie Sheep tells Peppa about her imaginary friend named Leo. At first, it seems like normal kid stuff, but some fans believe Leo isn't just made up. He might be someone Susie really sees. The deeper mystery is about her family. Susie has no dad in the show. Some theories say Mummy Sheep raised her alone, but others go further. They believe Susie is a clone, an exact copy of her mother. If that's true, Leo could be her way of coping. Peppa has a teddy, George has a dinosaur. Maybe Leo is who Susie talks to when she feels alone. 4. Peppa Pig shouldn't be alive in space.
I can jump really high. Me too.
Peppa and her friends once went to outer space. That's already wild, but the real mystery is how they survived. They only wore helmets with no oxygen tanks or proper spacesuits. In real life, that wouldn't protect anyone. The cold alone would be enough to freeze them. So are Peppa and her friends part of a super evolved species? If they don't need full suits, why do they wear them in other episodes? Is it just for fun? Or are some space trips more dangerous than others? None of it makes sense, and the show never explains how they're still alive. 5. Susie Sheep might not have a dad. One strange thing about Susie Sheep is that we've never seen her dad. Most of Peppa's friends have both parents, but Susie's family only shows her mom, grandma, and cousin. Her dad has never been mentioned at all. Some fans think he passed away. Maybe he had a serious illness, and that's why Susie wants to become a nurse, to help people like she wishes she could have helped him. But there's also a darker theory. What if Susie doesn't have a dad because she was cloned? It's a wild idea, but in Peppa Pig, anything might be possible. 6. Peppa Pig might be the unfavorite child.
It's my birthday. George, wake up, it's my birthday.
Peppa and George don't get treated the same. When George had his birthday, it was a huge event. A museum party with a robot dinosaur and even a bouncy castle. But Peppa's birthday was just a small party at home where Daddy Pig dressed up as a magician. That might sound fun, but it's nothing compared to George's big day. At first, it seems like they're just spoiling the youngest, but some fans think it's deeper than that. Do Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig secretly favor George, or is Peppa harder to handle than she seems? Either way, it feels pretty unfair. 7. Peppa's world might break the laws of weather. In Madame Gazelle's leaving party, we meet her sisters from the band, the Rocking Gazelles. They live in a place completely covered in snow. But here's the strange part. Peppa's town is sunny in the same episode. Even stranger, the sisters show up at the party later that same day. How can their home be so close, yet have such different weather? Are there extreme time zones? Is Peppa's world split by magical climates? Or maybe the creators just forgot to explain it. 8. Claire Cow might not be their real daughter. Claire Cow appears in several episodes, but her background is a mystery. She's often seen with Mr. Bull and Mrs. Cow, yet something feels off. She doesn't attend Peppa's school, even though most of the town's kids do. We find out in the Christmas special, Claire's not on the school bus, but she's waiting at the theater. So, where does she go to school? And why? In another episode, Mr. Bull takes her to the market like a parent would, but strangely, she isn't at his wedding. If she's really their daughter, why is she missing from such a big moment? 9. Peppa's family might be the last pigs left.
Oh, you're beautiful, Mummy.
Peppa's world is full of animals. Rabbits, ponies, cats, dogs, you name it. But when you stop and look closely, there's something strange. Where are all the other pigs? We've met Peppa's extended family. Grandpa and Grandma Pig, Auntie Pig, Uncle Pig, and cousin Chloe. That's it. Other animals have unrelated families walking around town, but Peppa's family is the only group of pigs we ever see. Even in big city episodes, Paris, New York, London, not a single other pig appears. Could Peppa's family be the last of their kind? It's never explained. And honestly, it's kind of creepy once you notice it. 10th, Mummy Pig might be named Petunia. Most adults in Peppa Pig don't have real names. Everyone just calls them Mummy, Daddy, Grandpa, or Grandma. But some small details reveal clues. Auntie Dottie's name is known because she wears a polka dot dress, so her name fits her outfit. In the time capsule episode, Mummy Pig wears a dress covered in flowers. That led fans to a theory. Maybe her name is Petunia. It makes sense if names match what they wear. We know Grandpa Rabbit's real name is Rad, so real names do exist. Maybe Mummy Pig is just a title, and Petunia is her true name. 11. Daddy Pig might have a secret history with Aunt Dottie.
It's a wonderful time of year when families come together
to give thanks for all the good things in life.
In Grandpa Pig's computer, there's a photo sitting quietly in the background. It shows two young pigs, one in a polka dot dress. At first, fans thought it was Peppa and George, but the picture is black and white. It's much older. The pig in the dress is Aunt Dottie, and the boy beside her might be Daddy Pig. The same photo appears in Daddy Pig's office, which means it matters to him. Were they best friends? Childhood sweethearts? Many believed Aunt Dottie was his sister, until it was revealed she's Mummy Pig's. So, what really happened between them? Nobody knows. 12. Peppa Pig might have more than two eyes. Peppa Pig is always drawn from the side, but somehow both of her eyes are always visible. That doesn't make sense unless something strange is going on. Does she have two eyes on one side? Or maybe extra eyes hidden on the other? It's a creepy thought, but there's a simple reason behind it. One of the show's creators explained that Peppa's world is drawn like a child sees it. Kids often draw faces from the side, but still include both eyes. It's just a style choice, but once you notice it, it's hard to unsee. 13. Peppa's family might be filmed without knowing it.
Would any of you like to be on TV?
Yes, please.
We just have to put you in front of the camera.
Everyone knows Peppa Pig is a cartoon, but in one episode, things get weird. Peppa visits a TV studio and records the show's intro, while Susie Sheep watches it live. That means Peppa is starring in a show inside her own world. So here's the mystery. Is Peppa aware she's on TV, or is her whole life being recorded without her knowing? The family is always perfectly framed, like there's a hidden camera following them. It's a creepy thought. What if everything we're watching isn't just a cartoon, but a show being made inside Peppa's own world? No one ever explains it. 14. Peppa might be stuck in a time loop. Peppa Pig has been on TV for over 20 years, but no one in the show ever gets older. Peppa is still 4, George is still 2. That might be fine in cartoon log, C, but here's the strange part. The family has celebrated Christmas at least 6 different times. If time never moves forward, how do holidays keep happening? Some fans think Peppa's world is frozen. Others believe time resets after every episode, like a loop. Or maybe in Peppa's universe, Christmas just comes more than once a year. Either way, it's a mystery no one in the show ever questions. 15. Some animals in Peppa's world might still be wild. In Peppa's world, animals walk, talk, and live like people, but not all of them. We've seen Penny Polar Bear and her family speak like everyone else. Then comes a strange detail. In one episode, Danny Dog's dad says he saw a polar bear at the North Pole, but that one didn't talk. It acted like a normal animal. So what's going on? Are there two types of animals in Peppa's world? Those who evolved and those who didn't? Some fans even think the talking animals came after a major event. If that's true, Peppa's world might have a hidden past. 16. Mr. Fox might be stealing from Grandpa Pig. Inside Mr. Fox's shop, there's a shelf full of tiny ships and bottles. At first, it seems normal, until you realize those same ships used to be in Grandpa Pig's attic. So, how did they end up in Mr. Fox's store? Freddy Fox's dad is known for selling anything and everything, and fans have joked that he's a bit of a thief. Some believe Mr. Fox secretly took them from Grandpa Pig. Others think Grandpa might have sold them, or traded them without telling anyone. Either way, something strange happened. The show never explains how those ships changed hands. 17. Grandpa Pig might have been a real pirate.
While I wait, I suppose I could have a read of my newspaper.
Grandpa Pig calls himself a sailor, but the clues say otherwise. In the children's festival episode, we learned that his parrot, Polly, once sailed with the famous pirate Redbeard. That's already suspicious. But the biggest clue is on Grandpa Pig's own boat. He flies a Jolly Roger, the classic pirate flag. No real sailor would use that symbol unless they had a pirate past. He wears the right outfit, but his actions and stories feel more reckless than official. Was Grandpa Pig hiding a wild past on the high seas? Maybe he wasn't always the friendly grandpa we know today. 18. Grandpa Rabbit might be over 100 years old. In the episode Sea Treasure, Peppa finds a bottle with a message inside. It turns out the letter was written by Grandpa Rabbit. But here's the strange part. Miss Rabbit's dad says it was written 100 years ago. That would make Grandpa Rabbit over a century old. Even in a cartoon, that's a stretch. He's still working, traveling, and acting like any other adult. The show never explains how he could be that old. Was it just a joke, or is Grandpa Rabbit hiding something? Either way, the timeline doesn't make sense, and it's one of the weirdest details yet. 19th Doctor. Hamster might be a bad vet.
Thank goodness you found him. Oh, naughty tortoise. Back in your box. It's your bedtime.
In the episode Troublesome Tortoise, an animal escapes from Dr. Hamster's clinic. His name is Tiddles, and apparently he runs away a lot. That sounds like more than just bad luck. If a vet keeps losing the same pet, maybe the problem isn't the animal. It might be the vet. Dr. Hamster laughs it off, but fans started asking questions. Is she careless? Are the animals unhappy under her care? Tiddles climbing trees. It makes you wonder, should someone be checking on her clinic? Maybe Tiddles isn't just naughty, maybe he's trying to escape. 20. The school roof might never actually get fixed.
Oh, didn't I fix this roof for you before, Madam Gazelle?
Yes, Mr. Bull, but still it goes drippity drip drip.
In Peppa Pig, the school roof breaks a lot. And every time it does, Madame Gazelle holds an event to raise money. Parents buy things, run marathons, or even jump out of planes just to help. But here's the weird part. If it's their school and their money, why not just fix it? Why do they need to buy their own stuff to cover repairs? It feels like a strange cycle that never ends. Maybe the school is underfunded, or maybe Madame Gazelle is just bad with money. Whatever the reason, the roof is always broken, and nobody questions it. 21. Madame Gazelle might be hiding her husband. Madame Gazelle's house has always looked a little strange. In one episode, it's even tilted to the side. But the real mystery is inside. On her wall hangs an old black and white photo of a male gazelle. Most fans think it's her husband, so where is he? He's never seen, never mentioned. Madame Gazelle has taught generations of children, including Mummy and Daddy Pig. If she's been around that long, is her husband still alive? Some fans believe she's a vampire. If that's true, maybe he was too. Did he vanish? Or is she keeping a much darker secret? Mrs. Cat might be hiding a secret relationship. In Grandpa Pig's birthday episode, the family goes to a fancy restaurant. Everything seems normal at first, until you notice Mrs. Category. She's sitting at a table with a male cat, but something feels off. His fur is darker than Mr. Cat's, and his face looks different too. So, who is he? The show never says. Some fans believe it's just a small animation error, but others think it's a hidden detail with a bigger meaning. Is he a friend, a cousin, or someone Mrs. Cat doesn't want anyone to know about? Whatever the answer is, that scene feels very strange. 23rd, Miss Rabbit might be pretending to be a mom. In the Fire Engine episode, Mummy Pig joins a firefighter training group with other moms. Mummy Sheep, Mummy Dog, and Mummy Pony. But then we see another rabbit. At first, it seems like Mummy Rabbit until you realize she looks exactly like Miss Rabbit. Could it actually be her? Miss Rabbit already has dozens of jobs, so joining this group wouldn't be surprising. But here's the strange part. She's the only one without a child there. And Daddy Rabbit is shown somewhere else entirely. So if Miss Rabbit is filling in, why? Is she hiding something? Or pretending to be someone she's not? 24. Madame Gazelle might have a secret first name. It's no surprise that Madame Gazelle might be a vampire, but even with all the fan theories, one thing still hasn't been solved. What's her real name? Madame is just a title. Gazelle is her species. We know her sisters are Greta and Gretel, and together they were in a band called the Rocking Gazelles. But Madame Gazelle's own name? Never said, not once. The only clue comes during her farewell party, when one of her sisters calls her Gigi. The second G is Gazelle, but the first? Could it be Gretchen, Grace, or something much older and darker? Peppa Pig just keeps getting darker the more you look, and we're only scratching the surface. But tell us this, do you think the creators are hiding something on purpose, or are we all just overthinking it? Comment below and stay tuned for more twists. From forgotten cousins to possible villains, these Peppa Pig characters raise serious questions. 1. Julian the donkey. In Mr. Potato's Christmas show, there's a blink and you'll miss it moment. While everyone's watching the play, a small donkey is sitting quietly in the crowd. He looks about the same age as George. Nobody says his name and he never talks. But fans have started calling him Julian. Why? Some think he might be part of Delphine Donkey's family, the French donkeys we've seen before. Maybe he's Delphine's cousin, visiting from France for the holidays. Or maybe he just moved to Peppa's town and hasn't made friends yet. We don't know where he came from, but one thing's for sure. Julian's quiet little appearance has made a big mystery. Second, Whitney Wolf. If you've seen a little brown wolf in a blue dress hanging around Peppa's town, you're not alone. That's Whitney. Well, that's what fans call her. She's not Wendy Wolf, who has gray fur and wears pink. Letitia looks totally different. So who is she? Some think she's Wendy's cousin, maybe from Daddy Wolf's side of the family. Others believe she comes from a different wolf family and only visits once in a while. She's never had a line, never been introduced, and no one ever talks about her. But she shows up just enough to make you wonder, why is she there at all? 3. Mr. Hyrax.
Have you booked a table? We're with Grandpa Pig. Please, follow me.
You might not recognize Mr. Hyrax right away, and that's fair. He barely ever talks, but if you look closely, he's been around more than you'd think. He's mostly seen in scenes with Grandpa Pig, often helping out or working in the background. What's strange is that he doesn't just do one thing. He has at least 3 different jobs. He runs the sailing club's clubhouse, pops up at town events, and helps with odd tasks. But we've never heard where he lives, who his family is, or how he got all these jobs. He's quiet, helpful, and always busy. But we know almost nothing about him, which makes him one of the show's biggest question marks. 4th, Pearl Pony. In the soft play episode, there's a birthday party packed with kids. And right in the middle of the ball pit, there's a little pony in a yellow dress. She doesn't speak, and no one says her name. But fans now call her Pearl Pony. She looks like she could be related to Pedro Pony, maybe a cousin or younger sibling. But if that's true, why is she never mentioned again? Most believe she lives outside of town and only came for the party. Like any kid, she just wanted cake, games, and fun. It's a quick appearance, but enough to leave fans wondering, was she just visiting? Or is there more to Pearl than we know? 5. Mr. Deer.
Hello. Buongiorno. Come posso aiutare una così bella signora?
When Peppa's family visits Italy, they meet all kinds of new characters. One of them is Mr. Deer, the man who rents them a car. He's friendly, smiles a lot, and helps Daddy Pig pick a vehicle. But here's what makes him different. He doesn't speak a word of English, not even a little. Every other Italian character in that episode, including the police officer, somehow understands English. But not Mr. Deer. He seems totally confused by what anyone says. It's a strange detail for a show where almost everyone can communicate. Maybe he's never left his hometown. Maybe he's just really focused on cars. 6th, Shadow Cat. During Mr. Potato's Christmas show, there's a black kitten sitting quietly next to Carol Cow. Fans were quick to notice, it's not Candy Cat. This kitten has darker fur and a totally different vibe. Some started calling her Shadow Cat, like a mirror version of Candy from a parallel world. Others think she's Candy's cousin, or maybe even her sibling, but that seems unlikely since they've never been seen together. A few fans believe she might be related to another mystery cat seen at Mandy Mouse's birthday. 7th, Penny Pony. If you look closely in some episodes, you'll spot a quiet little pony who never speaks. Penny Pony. She's not just another background extra. Penny was originally meant to be a main character. In fact, she was supposed to be Pedro Pony before the showrunners changed their minds and made Pedro a boy. Instead of deleting her completely, they kept the old design and dropped her quietly into the background. That's why fans believe she might be Pedro's cousin or sibling. She's part of the show's past, but her story was never told. Now she just floats through scenes like a forgotten draft, and unless she makes a big return, Penny will stay one of Peppa Pig's biggest what-ifs. 8. Miss Bear. You've probably seen Miss Bear without even noticing her. She pops up in crowd scenes, waiting for Mr. Potato, riding Grandpa Dog's boat, or wading through the town's biggest muddy puddle, but she almost never speaks. In one episode, we find out she lives in a cabin in the woods and is Belinda Bear's mom. She's also married to Mr. Bear, not to be confused with Dr. Brown Bear, who wears glasses. Some fans even think she and the doctor are siblings. Still, for someone who shows up a lot, we know very little about her. No job, no story, no backstory. Just a quiet bear in the background who clearly has more going on than the show lets on. 9. Claire Cat.
Welcome to Cheese World. Have any of you been here before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, hello, Mandy. Nice to see you back again.
During Mandy Mouse's birthday at the cheese-themed park, A tiny cat appeared on screen for just a few seconds. That's all it took for fans to instantly give her a name, Claire Cat, and start making art, theories, and backstories. She has no lines, no introduction, and has never shown up again. But the Peppa fandom ran with it. The most popular idea is that Claire is Candy Cat's niece, which means Candy might have an older sibling we've never seen. Some also think she could be related to Shadow Cat from the Christmas play. The show never confirms anything, but Claire's short appearance was more than enough for fans to treat her like a real character, with a secret family tree waiting to be explored. 10th Claire Cow.
It's lots of shops, all under the same roof. Wow!
In several episodes, there's a young cow who quietly tags along with Mrs. Cow. Fans have named her Claire Cow, and she stirred up a lot of mystery. She shows up at the Children's Festival, on the Ferris wheel, walking through Times Square, and even sitting front row at Mr. Potato's Christmas show. But she's never with Peppa's school group, which means she likely doesn't go to Madame Gazelle's class. Some think she's Mrs. Cow's niece, just visiting town. Others believe she's actually Mr. Bull's daughter from before he married Mrs. Cow. If that's true, why has no one ever mentioned her? And more importantly, where was she in Mr. Bull's and Ms. Cow's wedding? Whether she's a relative, a secret daughter, or just passing through, Claire Cow definitely has fans asking questions. 11th, Mr. Badger and Mrs. Badger.
Hello there, my lovelies. I'm Mrs. Badger the farmer. Hello!
You've probably seen Mr. and Mrs. Badger in the background, but the show never really tells us who they are. They live on a farm, take care of animals, and sometimes show up at events like museum trips or town festivals. Mrs. Badger even has her own short episode at the petting zoo. But even there, we don't learn much. They're clearly part of the community and have a full life off screen. Yet we never see where they live, what they do for fun, or if they have a family. They're always around, always helpful, but always on the edge of the story. It feels like they have a whole world going on. We just never get to see it. 12th, Uncle Pig.
Hello, Auntie Pig and Uncle Pig. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello, big brother.
Uncle Pig doesn't show up all the time, but when he does, he leaves an impression. He's Chloe and baby Alexander's dad, and we learn a few surprising things about him. For starters, unlike his brother, Daddy Pig, he doesn't wear glasses. That might not sound like a big deal, but it hints that only one of their parents had bad eyesight. Uncle Pig is also great with tools. He built an entire puppet theater for Chloe by himself, and he's not just handy, he can cook too. He made a pumpkin pie for Aunt Dottie's visit. Quiet, talented, and surprisingly different from Daddy Pig, Uncle Pig might be the most underrated grown-up in Peppa's world. 13, Baby Alexander, Noise Paradox.
We found noise is the best way to get baby Alexander back to sleep. He likes noise.
Baby Alexander is Peppa's cousin and the youngest member of the family. Until baby Evie arrives, of course. He's mostly known for eating, burping, and sleeping. But there's one thing about him that's never made sense. Chloe says he needs noise to fall asleep. So everyone makes a bunch of silly sounds to help him nap. But then, moments later, he wakes up crying when Daddy Pig walks into the room. Wait, what? He needs noise to sleep, but noise also wakes him up? That doesn't add up. It's a strange little detail the show never explains. Maybe baby Alexander just has picky sleep habits. Or maybe this baby is secretly more complex than anyone thinks. 14, Auntie Pig. We know Daddy Pig and Uncle Pig are brothers, and we know Mummy Pig and Aunt Di are sisters. But what about Auntie Pig, Uncle Pig's wife and Chloe's mom? She's clearly from a different pig family, one we've never seen or heard about. That means there must be a third pig family somewhere out there. But where are they? We don't meet Auntie Pig's parents, siblings, or even hear a single mention of them. Every other main character in Peppa's world has a clear family tree, except her. Did her side move away? Are they just never shown? For someone who's part of Peppa's extended family, Auntie Pig brings a lot of questions and zero answers. 15, Miss Crocodile, predator with a smile.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Crocodile. I'm the keeper in charge of the penguins.
Miss Crocodile is one of Peppa Pig's most unusual characters. She's the only talking reptile in a world full of warm-blooded animals like pigs, rabbits, and bears. That alone makes her stand out. But here's what's stranger. She works at the zoo, helping care for other animals, including ones she might normally eat in the wild. She seems polite and helpful, but remember that odd moment when she gave Madame Gazelle a long stare during feeding time? Some say it was just a joke, but others aren't so sure. Is she hiding something? How did a crocodile even end up in Peppa's friendly town? 16th, Mr. Lion. Mr. Lion seems like a nice guy. He's quiet, professional, and works at the zoo just like Miss Crocodile. But there's something odd about that. Lions are carnivores, crocodiles too. So why are the zoo's caretakers animals that would normally be predators? predators. In the real world, a lion wouldn't be trusted to babysit a zebra, but in Peppa Pig, he's in charge of feeding time. He doesn't act dangerous, but his role raises a lot of questions. Did the zoo just overlook his instincts? Or is there a deeper reason behind why these predators have such important jobs? 17th Italian policeman.
Good day. I am returning this young bear. He was left on the aeroplane.
Oh, thank you.
When Peppa's family visits Italy, something weird keeps happening. Teddy goes missing, not just once, but again and again. And every single time, a friendly Italian policeman shows up out of nowhere to return it. No one explains how he finds Teddy so fast, or how he always knows exactly where Peppa's family is. It's almost like he's following them. Even stranger, he speaks perfect English, unlike other locals. Some fans even think he might be related to Captain Otter. They look a lot alike. So, who is this guy really? A helpful cop? A secret spy? Or maybe something else entirely? One thing's clear. If you lose something in Italy, this mysterious officer will find you first. 18. Dr. Hamster and the Hamster Paradox. Dr. Hamster is smart, kind, and runs the vet clinic in Pepperstown. She wears glasses, drives a rescue van, and even treats big animals like tortoises and dogs. So far, so normal. But here's the twist. In the same show, we also see other hamsters kept as tiny, squeaky pets, like Madame Gazelle's classroom hamsters. So why is Dr. Hamster treated like a person, while others are kept in cages? Are they different species? Smarter? Related somehow? Or is this just one of Peppa Pig's biggest logic holes? 19th Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig loves boats. He sails often, collects ships in bottles, and even has a parrot named Polly. But take a closer look, and things start to feel suspicious. His boat flies a Jolly Roger flag, the classic pirate symbol. And Polly the parrot? She used to hang out with Captain Redbeard, an actual pirate in Peppa's world. Grandpa Pig seems like a sweet old sailor, but these pirate clues say otherwise. Was he once part of Redbeard's crew? Or did he leave that life behind for gardening and storytelling? Nobody knows for sure. 20. Ben and Holly. Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom is made by the same team behind Peppa Pig, but are the two shows connected? Some fans think so. In one episode, while Peppa's family visits Times Square, there's a giant glowing sign for a Ben and Holly live show, like it's a real Broadway hit in Peppa's world. Then, in another episode, we see Holly on the cover of a storybook Peppa reads to George. Is Ben and Holly just a fictional show inside Peppa's universe? Or are they somehow real characters, just living in a different part of the same world? Whether it's a fun Easter egg or a full-on crossover, one thing's clear. The link between these two shows isn't just a coincidence. 21st, Aunt Dottie.
I haven't seen you since you were a baby.
I'm a big girl now.
So I see. Give me a hug. Oh.
Aunt Dottie is Mummy Pig's sister, but something about her doesn't add up. She speaks with an American accent and shows up out of nowhere to celebrate Thanksgiving, a holiday no one else in Peppa's town even knows about. She's been living in the US for years, and some fans think she was raised there by Peppa's great-grandmother, who's never been seen on screen. That would explain the accent, T, but not the strange behavior. In one episode, she gives Peppa and George a toy with wheels, knowing full well the town has steep hills. It could have been dangerous. Was it a bad call? Or something more? Mr. Gazelle. At first, it seems like Madame Gazelle doesn't have a partner, but in one episode, a painting appears in her house, showing a well-dressed gazelle in a suit and top hat. That's not just any random character. Fans believe it's her husband. Things get weirder at the Science Museum. As Edmund rides the rocket, the same gazelle appears again, but this time, he's in an old military uniform from centuries ago. How could one person be in two totally different time periods? Some say he's a time traveler. Others think he's a ghost. Mr. Labrador. Mr. Labrador doesn't say much, but he's always around. He works with Mr. Bull, shows up at fancy restaurants, and even travels to Paris. When Peppa's family visits the Eiffel Tower, he's spotted wearing a bright floral shirt, like he's trying not to be recognized. But fans know it's him. He might change his outfit, but not his face. Whether he's working, relaxing, or hiding in plain sight, Mr. Labrador seems to have more going on than we ever hear about. Well, that got weird fast. Who knew Peppa Pig was filled with secret cousins, mystery jobs, and possible time travelers? But here's a thought. What if the creators are planting clues on purpose? Let's debate in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next theory drop.
Dog's garage. Here are Peppa and her family in their car.
Hello, Danny. Hello, Peppa.
What can we do for you today? We've got petrol, air for tires, and a new automatic car wash.
2 ice lollies, please.
Oh, certainly.
Grandad Dog's garage sells lots of things, even ice lollies.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I love our car.
And our car loves us too, don't you?
Oh dear, the car has stopped.
It's no good. It won't start.
I know. I'll ring Grandad Dog.
Grandad Dog speaking.
Help! Our car has broken down.
Danny, we've got some rescuing to do.
Yippee!
To the rescue!
To the rescue! Look, there's Danny and Grandad Dog.
Hooray!
Grandad Dog knows everything about cars.
Is it serious?
No, you've just run out of petrol.
What can we do?
There's plenty of petrol at my garage. I'll tow you there.
Grandad Dog is towing Peppa's car back to his garage. Grandad Dog is filling Peppa's car with petrol.
Thank you, Grandad Dog.
Here is Susie Sheep and her mummy in their car.
Hello, Peppa. Hello, Susie. We ran out of petrol. Grandad Dog rescued us. Wow, that's exciting. See you later. See you later.
Oh no! All the air has gone out of the tyre.
Will Grandad Dog have to rescue us?
I think so.
Grandad Dog speaking. I see. Don't panic, Mummy Sheep. I'm on my way.
To the rescue! Can I go too?
Hop aboard, Peppa.
To the rescue!
To the rescue!
Hello, Susie. We've come to rescue you. Hooray!
Grandad Dog is filling the tyre with air.
Thank you, Grandad Dog.
Here are Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig in their car.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Grandpa Pig. Would you like some petrol or air?
No, thanks. I want to try out your new car wash.
Certainly. It's run by a computer.
Hello, I am the car wash of the future. Ooh. First, soapy water. Then a rinse. And finally, a polish. Wow! Sorry, I have malfunctioned.
Oh dear, the computer has broken and Grandpa Pig's car is stuck.
Ah! Do something, Grandad Dog.
Oh, I don't know how to mend computers.
My daddy mended our computer at home.
Well, I didn't really mend the computer. I just...
Good. Then this is a job for Daddy Pig.
Maybe if I just switch it off and then switch it on again.
Daddy Pig has mended the car wash.
Hooray!
Grandad Dog is the best at mending cars, but my daddy mended the car wash. Foggy day.
Peppa and George are going to the playground today.
Should we drive to the playground?
No, let's walk.
Look, it's just over there.
The playground is quite close.
Okay, let's walk.
This way, everyone.
We're going to the playground. We're going to the playground. Oh! Where has the sky gone?
Don't worry, Peppa. It's just fog.
What's fog?
Fog is a cloud that is on the ground instead of in the sky.
Ooh.
Very thick fog.
I can't see a thing.
Maybe we should go back home.
Yes, we'll go to the playground another day.
Aww.
It is too foggy to find the playground, so Peppa and George have to go back home.
Now, which way is home?
Are we lost, Daddy Pig?
Don't worry, I know exactly where we are. This way. Put that tree there.
Daddy Pig has walked into a tree.
Are you okay, Daddy Pig?
Yes, I'm fine. This way.
Daddy Pig, do you know where you're going?
Yes, of course I do.
I don't think we'll ever find our house again.
I'm sure we will, Peppa. We're only in our garden.
Oh, it's the ducks. Hello, Mrs. Duck. Have you lost your pond? We're lost too.
We are not lost. I know exactly where we are. See you later, ducks. Good luck finding your pond.
Oh!
Daddy Pig has found the duck pond.
That's lucky.
Yes. What a stroke of luck.
Daddy, Mrs. Duck says thank you.
You're most welcome, Mrs. Duck. Now, let's find our house. I'm sure it's this way.
Hello?
Did you hear something?
Yes, I thought I heard someone say...
Hello?
It's Mummy Rabbit with Rebecca and Richard.
Hello, Peppa. We're lost. Hello, Rebecca. We're lost too. We wanted to go to the playground. So did we, but it's too foggy to get there.
Come on, everyone. Back to our house until the fog clears.
Daddy Pig, do you know where you're going?
Yes, of course I do. This way.
Yes, Daddy Pig.
Aha! I've found our little hill. We'll soon be home.
Hooray!
Our house should be just about here. Oh.
Daddy Pig has found a ladder.
That's strange. We don't have a ladder in our garden. Goodness me!
Can you see where we are, Daddy Pig?
Yes, I can.
Daddy, where are we?
Why don't you have a look?
Okay. Wow. Wow. I can see everything again.
The fog is going away.
We're at the playground. Hooray! Whee! We're at the playground. We're at the playground. Whee! Seesaw, seesaw. Daddy! Mummy! We're at the playground.
Well, that's lucky. But I thought we were trying to get home.
So did I. Maybe we did get a bit lost after all.
Jumble sale.
It is a rainy day, and the school roof has a hole in it.
Children, we are going to have a jumble sale. The money we raise will pay for a new school roof.
Hooray!
Everyone has to bring something for the jumble sale.
What should we bring?
You can bring an old toy or something you don't use anymore.
No.
The parents have arrived to pick up the children.
Home time. Don't forget your old toys for the jumble sale tomorrow.
Peppa is choosing a toy for the jumble sale.
Peppa, have you decided? You only have to choose one toy.
Yes, and it will help pay for a new school roof.
Okay. I'm going to give Mr. Dinosaur.
Mr. Dinosaur is George's favorite toy.
Peppa, you can't give away Mr. Dinosaur.
Can't I?
No.
Oh, bother. Sorry, George. Dinosaur.
Why don't you give your old Jack-in-a-Box?
Okay. Now it's your turn, Daddy.
What?
We must all give something to the jumble sale.
I'm giving this hat, and George is giving this ball.
So what shall Daddy give? I know, the television.
Not the telly.
No, it's too useful. I know. Daddy's smelly slippers. No, too smelly. I know. Daddy's old chair.
But that's an antique.
What does antique mean?
Antique means it's very old and valuable.
But you found it on a rubbish tip, Daddy Pig. It's worthless.
It'll be worth a lot of money when I mend it.
You've been saying that for ages, Daddy Pig.
I know. I'll give these lovely socks that Granny Pig made me.
Good.
I've come to collect your things for the jumble sale.
Here they are.
Thank you. And would you like this old chair? Oh, most generous. Goodbye.
Bye. Mummy, you gave away Daddy's chair.
Shh, don't tell him. He'll never notice.
It is the day of the jumble sale.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Rabbit.
Peppa, how about this chair? It's a bit rubbish, but you can chop it up and use it for firewood.
But it's an antique.
Is it?
Daddy said it's worth lots of money.
Well, I never. I'd better put the price up.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Hello, Peppa. What did you give Susie? I gave my nurse's outfit. I gave my parrot balloon. I gave my toy monkey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I missed my jack-in-a-box. Can I buy this jack-in-a-box, please? And I'd like this nurse's outfit. The parrot balloon, please. Mummy, Mummy, look what we've bought.
All your old toys.
We missed them.
Look what I bought. It's an antique chair.
Oh, Daddy Pig, that's not an antique chair.
It is. Miss Rabbit just said so. And it matches my old one.
Yes, Daddy. That's because...
Shh, Peppa.
It is your old chair.
What? But Miss Rabbit has just charged me lots of money for it.
Fantastic news, everybody. We have just raised all the money we need for a new school roof.
Hooray!
Thank you, Daddy Pig.
You're most welcome.
Swimming!
Peppa and her family are at the swimming pool. Daddy Pig is wearing his swimming costume. Mummy Pig is wearing her swimming costume. Peppa is wearing her swimming costume.
Hurry up, George. Everyone's waiting.
George is wearing his swimming costume.
Peppa, George, let Daddy put on your armbands.
There, George. Your armbands make you look very grown up.
Now, me.
Good. Now we can go in the water.
It is George's first time at the swimming pool.
Why don't you put just one foot into the water? Maybe you should try the other foot.
Maybe George should try both feet at the same time.
Good idea. Well done, George. But you don't need to splash quite so much.
Here is Rebecca Rabbit with her little brother, Richard Rabbit.
Hello, Rebecca. Hello, everyone.
Richard, hold on to this float and you can